You know, how many of y'all know we're going to be in a fight?
Okay.
If you're going to be in a dog fight, you better not bring no poodle. If you're going to be in a dog fight, you better bring a bulldog. And there's no better bulldog in the fight for justice and human rights. She is a woman, but a warrior, a lady, but a lion. Let's welcome to this podium for Rainbow Push, the Vice President, my sister and friend. Let's welcome Attorney Janis Mathis.
That's right.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. The first thing I want to say is to KJ's family. My heart breaks for you.
Yes.
That's why we're here, because our hearts are breaking for you. We're sorrowful for you. We don't understand. We're in grief with you.
Yes.
The other thing I want to say is for those of you who braved whatever the weather might have been today. If Joe Lowry was here, he'd call you chaplains of the common good.
Come on, guys.
If you came out today, we're preaching in some sense to the choir, because you believe, you get it, you understand. But for every one of us who gets it, there's 1,000 of us who do not.
That's right.
And so our charge today is to go back and spread the word. And next time we do this, say on January the 11th, on the anniversary of KJ's death, there'll be 100,000 of us here doing what we need to do. You know, 10 years ago, a great American challenged the nation with a question that we have not yet answered. Whether any nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal can long endure. We ain't got the answer right yet. We are today met on one of the great battlefields of the struggle to answer that question. James, what you talking about? The Georgia State Capitol is one of those battlefields.
Yes, ma'am.
Georgia was one of the first states to enact voter suppression. You do know that, don't you?
Yes.
In the building behind us.
Yes.
Georgia was one of the first states to enact 2 strikes and you're out.
Yeah.
Georgia is a great laboratory of incursions on human and civil rights.
That's right.
In spite of, or maybe because of, the glamour and the glory that is Atlanta. Georgia has no expungement of criminal records. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
And so it should come as no surprise to us that right in the building behind us, Georgia became one of the very first states to enact stand your ground in a perversion of 1,000 years of common law. Simply put, stand your ground is unfair, unworkable, unnecessary, and makes us less safe. And that's why we're suing the state of Georgia, because Georgia needs to be sued.
Right on! Right on!
When Lincoln spoke at Gettysburg 150 years ago this year, we're talking about 50 years ago since 63, we've been trying to answer this question 150 years. There was no 13th Amendment then. I couldn't have filed a suit then, David. There was no 14th Amendment in 1863. There's no 15th Amendment in 1863. So we've made progress. What you think and what you do and how you vote makes a difference. And because Lincoln was the last casualty of the Civil War, we don't ever know what a reconstructed Georgia or what a reconstructed South might have looked like. But you know, it doesn't so much matter what we say here today.
Right.
That's why I'm going to stay within these 3 minutes. But it does matter what we do when we leave here.
Come on now.
There you go.
Tell it.
I urge, I'm a mother and a grandmother, I urge Governor Dean, put yourself in the place of KJ's parents. If you sent your child to school and he came home in a body bag, what would you expect of your government? What would you expect of your country? If it was your grandson, what would you want done? If your vital organs of your baby came up missing, what would you expect? Just simple, we ain't asking for nothing extra. Simple humanity, simple justice. You don't even really need the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment for that. Convene a coroner's inquest today. And you know what? For those of us who are here, we must feel highly resolved that the honored dead, Lincoln, King, James C. Johnson, one of the plaintiffs in our lawsuit, Trayvon Kendrick Johnson, did not die in vain. We must feel highly resolved to continue to fight until this great experiment that we call democracy and self-government is fully realized. Because we must here dedicate ourselves to the proposition that all men are created equal until we have government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Thank you, Janis. We know that we stand on the Georgia State Capitol, but the battleground really is going to be down in Valdosta, so we got to resolve that we're going to get on bus, train, walk, mule, donkey, horse, but we're going to the scene of the crime. We're glad that we're joined by those who are elected in that area, and to join us now from, I think this is supposed to be Lowndes County. They have Leon. Is it Leon or not? It's Leon. All right, Leon County Commissioner, the Reverend Bill Proctor. Let's receive him warmly as he comes to share with us.
Good morning. Good morning. To the Johnson family, to the honorable elected officials, distinguished citizens, one and all, God has opened his light and is shining without clouds, with nothing to obscure the vision of his love, grace, and mercy. But Georgia, on the other hand, has a clouded and a very obscure vision where there is no transparency about the death of Brother Johnson. I live 3 counties over in North Florida, in Leon County, Florida, and what I want y'all to know is that I'm not coming back to Atlanta, and I'm going to encourage everybody in my district, including Florida State, Florida University, and everybody in Tallahassee, we ain't coming back to Atlanta, Georgia until justice comes from Mr. Johnson. We ain't coming to a bowl. We ain't coming to go shopping. We don't want to come to no party. We ain't coming to do nothing in Atlanta. So this is the last time you're going to see my face in Atlanta, because my money will stay. And I'm encouraging you to keep your money in your pocket. Now, the governor name deal is living up to it. And sometimes silence is acquiescence. And when you have the duty to stand up and to orchestrate and to bring together the elements of justice, that they might inquire and to administer and to make sure that a proper investigation occurs, and you sit there and do nothing, you got the right name. You made a deal with the devil. So, deal, you need to deal. But we won't deal to deal justice. We won't deal to deal rightly. We won't deal to deal out a new investigation. And we won't deal to deal a new command over what has happened to our son and to our brother. They say that organs have been missing. I'm glad a church is in front of the Georgia State House. God knows that this great big church was not here. God only knows what they might do with that big old cross standing in front. We need a church with a big cross in front of this Capitol. We need a cross. And, however, there has been so much silence coming out of these churches. Come on now. And all these big crosses, and all these people, and all these churches across Georgia and Florida that remain silent as this young man lies and heaven is crying and the 14th Amendment is crying and bent over wondering where are the people who have the courage to do that which is right. But finally, let me say, they have indicated that body parts have been missing. And the best that I can see it, body parts are missing in the body politic of Georgia. And I've come by to ask the question, does Georgia have any ears? Their ears seem to be missing because nobody is listening. I've come by to ask the question, is Georgia's heart missing? Because nothing in Georgia seems to give a damn about what is happening. Does Georgia have a backbone? Because I have not seen any courage coming out of Mr. Deal to have a spine, and his spine is missing. But most of all, I want to know, does he have any intestines? Because he ain't showing guts to stand up for the law and what is right. And finally, I ask you, have any testicles to man up and to be right? Testicles. I ain't coming back to Georgia until, and I'm encouraging everybody I know, don't come to Georgia, because Georgia ain't got guts. Georgia ain't got that. Georgia ain't got guts.
We're going to hear from Attorney Crop and the family of KJ. They are five, we are here. Is that right?
Yes.
But before we do that, as I said, students are the heartbeat of the movement. And when nobody else would stand with his mother and father, students down at Valdosta State said, we'll stand with you. We welcome to the podium. She is the president of the Valdosta State NAACP. Let's welcome our sister, Alexis Bell.
One says that law and order exist for the purpose of establishing justice. And when they fail in this purpose, they become dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress. Lowndes County has done just that. As a student in the city, I have put my trust in these elected officials to keep us safe. Yes. But they have failed one of our own. Kendrick Johnson was more than just a student, he was an athlete. This city rests their pride and their joy in the athletics.
Come on now.
They didn't want a little spot or stain to block the view of the football team and the concrete palace. But what they failed to do is wipe the blood off the door that was a few feet away from his body. The scripture says that when 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, Jesus is in the midst. I believe that Jesus is in that gym, Jesus is in those offices, and Jesus is going to convict the hearts of those who know what happened. I also believe that you have to pray with your feet. So myself and students from Valdosta State University, we're going to keep standing with this family. We're going to keep protesting. We're going to keep rallying until we have justice. Thank you.
All right.
Valdosta State in the house. We have joining us from that great institution that sits on the hill that have produced more brilliant minds than young ladies. She is from Spelman College to bring us greetings on behalf of the student government of Spelman. Let's welcome Cabrillion Jones as she comes and share with us.
All right.
It saddens me to be here today. It saddens me, but I came anyway, and I showed up anyway. I came because I am a sister. Not in a cultural sense, but in a physical sense. A physical sister to 4 biological brothers that will one day bear a striking resemblance to Kendrick. And a spiritual sister to an institution of brothers that are of age to change the world, but of a color that strikes fear in most of the world. I am here for mothers and sisters that face their own struggles, yet are forced to attend their children's own funerals. Unfortunately, I am here, and so are you, because once again, Justice is nowhere to be found. It has been left out, neglected, forgotten about by those in a small Georgia town. There has been an omission defined as a failure to do something, especially something that one had a moral or legal obligation to do. Like when authority neglected the facts and had an oversight on logic, a lapse of justice, a failure in justice, and defaulted again on our promise to rights. But again, I am here and you are here with familiar faces, singing familiar songs, so that we can remind our sheriffs, our small Georgia towns, our states, our country, that we will not be omitted. Kendrick will not be neglected or forgotten or failed. But I pray that he's the last martyr of their sins of omission and the first to awaken the conscience of our nation. Because I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here, and we shouldn't have to be here. And as my last plea, I plead that the governor opens this case and sees what they have missed.